The deep squat, it is the foundation to Olympic weightlifting. This is something that is a non-negotiable if you want to pursue this to the highest of your ability. Just like if you want to learn how to play ice hockey, you have to learn how to skate first. In order to do Olympic weightlifting, you have to have a deep squat. So in this video, I'm going to give you a progression from 0 all the way up to the overhead squat, which is really important for the snatch. So let's get to it. So there's 3 things that are really important with the deep squat. One is the pressure in your feet. We want to have equal pressure across the whole foot. So that means toes and heels need to have equal pressure. Number 2 is the alignment of your hips and knees. Basically what we're looking for is the hip crease to be noticeably lower than the knee crease. We're also looking for our calf to be in a close proximity to our hamstring, and then our quad or thigh to be in close proximity to our chest. This is going to be the best way that we can efficiently maximize how low we can get. The lower we can get, the more weight we can lift. So if you guys notice, I don't have any lifters on. In fact, I'm in trainers. And what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna go barefoot. What we're gonna look to do is establish this deep squat with nothing around us. And so if you can't do any of this, guys, what's really important is that you find like an upright. So if you have a rack where you do squats or whatever, you can hold on to that upright and you can develop all of these things, and then you can try and let go of that upright as we go. Okay? So the first things first, I like to stand about shoulder width apart, maybe even slightly wider. I like to point my toes out, I don't know, like a 20-degree angle, but depending on the person, you can point them out more or less. And the first thing that I do is I try to get my forearms right above my knees. And the reason I do this is because of the foot pressure. Okay? I want to establish that solid pressure in my heel and my toe in this quarter squat before we push it any further, right? Because if we set ourselves up to kind of start squatting like this, well, we have not enough pressures in our toes. And if we start setting ourselves up to squat like this, too much pressures in our toes and we don't have pressure in our heel. So again, I want flat pressure, knees kind of come forward here, and I put my forearms right on top. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slowly work in to this position. And I'm gonna let my heels come up right now. It's totally fine that my heels are up. Okay, now they're really up and I'm on my toes. Just kind of hanging out here. What I'm working on is getting my calves to compress against my hamstring. I'm also gonna slowly start working on getting this angle with my knee and my chest to be even tighter. But that kind of comes secondary for me. I don't have the most flexible ankles, guys. I really don't. But what I do have is a pretty flexible adductor. And that's going to be a very, very determining factor in your ability to deep squat. I think it's very underrated is the adductor mobility. So essentially, we're just keeping our forearms above our knees. And what I'm going to start doing is wiggling around here and seeing if I can get my heels down. And there we go. They're down. You can see I hold my arms out like this as a counterbalance. If I let them go, what's that third thing? The posture, right? Starts going like that. This is not gonna help us. This position right here is not gonna help us. So again, to run through that. Starting that quarter squat. I'm ready now. Right here. Okay, equal pressure. I try and build into that. There we go. Okay, and now I can kind of hold right here. If you guys can do this with no heeled shoes, you're in a very, very good spot, okay? And I want you to notice how my hip crease is noticeably below my knee crease. We're not like this. We're not like this with the knees forward, and we're not back like this. We're even. Okay, so if you don't have weightlifting shoes, that's totally okay, but it would be ideal if you got yourself a pair. Essentially what the weightlifting shoes do is add stability to the lift, which is very important when you're Olympic weightlifting, but also they give you that heel height. Okay, that heel height is something that's gonna help you kind of get your knees forward and get into that bottom position. So right now, I had my trainers. I'm gonna toss these things away. And I'm gonna grab my weightlifting shoes. Okay, so that thing that I just did is actually gonna feel much nicer now that I have the weightlifting shoes on. Go right here. Oh yeah, I feel solid. Now I can just sit down in here. Now, when you guys get this, okay, try to build up time in this position. Whether it's across the day, whether it's in one session, it's going to help incredibly. Just this right here. This is all that you really need as far as mobility goes in the lower half, okay? What I actually did was I learned how to do this for 30 seconds at a time. And then I did it long enough to where I could hold it for 5 minutes. And when I was snatching my best weights, this is actually what I did before I would go to bed. Just sit down here, watch TV for 5 minutes, and then I just fall to my butt. Get that stress off my knees. And I just did the most beneficial mobility I will need to do for this sport. So what I'm gonna introduce you guys to now is the box squat drill. And the way that I do it is much different than maybe you've seen before. Maybe you've seen people squat to a box. What we're gonna do is we're gonna develop this deep squat from the bottom up. Our mindset has to be not that we're trying to reach the bottom of the squat. That has to be our home base. So we have to build everything from down there first. So even when your guys are just doing air squats, you shouldn't be thinking of, oh, okay, I gotta get everything set and I'm squatting down. It should be, no, I'm getting down there, then I can get everything set and stand up, okay? So what I've done here is I have this box set up here. And this actually might be high, but you'll get the idea. Hip crease will be noticeably below the knee crease. That's how we need to set up our box. And what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna take one of these plates off, make it even more obvious. Oh yeah, now we're cooking, okay? And all we're gonna do is, we're gonna sit back like this, like we're chilling. Now I can't stand from this position. Why? Because I don't have equal pressure in my feet. That's one of our key components that we need for the deep squat, okay? I just can't stand from this position. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kinda wiggle myself into that position, pull my chest up, pull my knees apart, reach my hands forward, and I'm gonna start leaning. And you can see from this angle over here, you can see my butt starts to kind of rise. All right, so I'm already standing without even really needing to do anything. This box is just kind of supporting me as I figure this out. And then when I'm ready, I can stand. Okay, we'll try that one more time. You should almost think of it as like, I'm prepared to, if anyone says stand immediately, I don't have to do anything. So if someone just goes, stand, I can just stand. It's that simple, okay? So here's what our drill looks like. Sitting like this, you can relax, like you're taking a shit. You can just sit like this, okay? Posture, lean, and stand, okay? And on our way down, I don't even want you to think about it. I don't even want you to think, okay, set up, get down properly. I just want you to get down. That's it. Up, lean, stand. It's as simple as that. So now we are going to overhead squat. We're gonna go over a few things first before we get to squatting. So the first thing is gonna be our grip width. And we want it to be relative to our snatch, where we're going to snatch with our grip. So for me, I'm a tall, lanky bastard. I have to go collar to collar. And the way that I know that I have to go collar to collar is that this bar fits right into my hip crease, right on my waistband. And what I want to start thinking, just in general, guys, is to not let this bar hang like this, kind of stand tall. Pull my head through the ceiling. This is my position. For some of you, That's gonna be in narrower, but again, we want it to rest in our waistband. Okay, right here. I could go wider if they made a wider barbell, but they don't, so I do this. I'm also holding what's called a hook grip. This is for sure a non-negotiable, okay? What you're gonna do is put your thumb around the bar and your hand is gonna go around that as well. It's gonna feel like it's a joke, like this can't actually be how people lift, is it? But it is. This is how you Olympic weightlift. This is a non-negotiable. You cannot snatch what you're capable of. You cannot clean what you're capable of without this grip right here. So just get used to it. You just got to go for it. There's really not much else I can tell you. There's not much technique to it. This is just what we do. Okay, so now that we have established our grip width and our grip, we're going to put this bar on our back and we're going to focus on the overhead squat position. The key things in the overhead squat position that I like to think about here is, number one, lock the elbows. Forcibly lock the elbows. Do not let them bend ever, okay? Number two, I want to think about pulling my scaps together. So locked out elbows, scaps together, okay? So here, here. Now, when we do this, I don't want us to pull our head way through like this. And again, we don't want to let those elbows bend because now we're just stretching out our pecs, and this is not a good overhead position. So if you see, this is not really the position we're looking for. I've got great locked out elbows. I'm looking for those shoulder blades to be pulled together. It's a small inch or two adjustment. I kind of pull my chin down a little bit. This is going to be huge for you guys when we start doing this. Okay, so now we're gonna get back to the box. And remember, when we did this, we just sat to the box. We didn't think about it. Oh man, I cannot stand from this position. It's exactly like the drill we did before. I can't get up. So what I'm gonna do, kind of wiggle myself into this position. Now here is the key. I'm gonna press straight so the bar is directly over my ears. Even here, I don't really like this position. Why? Because I want to be able to lean. There we go. That's the position. You see that difference there? Here, no. Here, yes. One more time. No. Yes. Okay? So what we're going to do, here's what the drill looks like. Oh man, I'm sitting back like this. This is not a good position. We're going to posture up a little bit. We're going to press that barbell straight. Now, we're gonna lean and stand, okay? Then we're gonna bring the barbell back down, and to get back down to the plate, we're not gonna care. We're just gonna get down here, and we're gonna start our drill back over again. So again, we're relaxed, postured up, press directly overhead, lean and stand. That's all in one motion, that lean and stand. That's key. Back down, we're relaxed. We're postured, we're pressing, lean and stand. So a common theme throughout all of these instructional videos is that when we get to the next progression, if you start to fall apart, just simply go back to the other progression and try to bridge that gap. This might be a section where you might have to do that, but here we go. So just like we were doing on the box, we're gonna do from standing, okay? We're gonna press straight overhead. Now this position, it is key that we understand that this is not where we're overhead squatting from. We're not just locking the elbows and trying to squat like this. This is very weird, okay? So this key movement right here is going to be crucial for you to hit that deep squat properly. You ready? We're gonna press straight and we're just gonna get a slight hinge. My hips go back, my chin kind of comes down, just very slightly. Again, I don't wanna go too far like this. This is horrible. Okay, but I also don't want to squat like this. I want to get somewhere in between. So this is what the movement looks like. We're going to press straight overhead. We don't squat from here, right? Now we're ready to squat. Now I can sit directly to my box. Okay, I'll bring the bar down to my back and I'll relax. Okay, get reset, and I'll do the exact same thing from the bottom up. I'll press through, stand. Back down. We're gonna press through, sit. Bring the bar back down. Press through, stand. We're gonna do one more rep, okay? Press, head through, sit. Bring the bar back down. Last one here. Press through, stand. So, if you've noticed, I've taken the box away. I've taken our safety net away. And again, guys, if it starts to fall apart here, just take a step back. Go back to the box drill, okay? What we're gonna do, we're gonna get in our nice squat position with our feet. We're gonna press straight. This is not our squat position. We can't squat from there, okay? We're gonna hinge forward. Oh yeah, locking my scaps together. Now I'm ready to squat. And now I'm ready to stand. And now I'm ready to squat. And now I'm ready to stand. And what you guys can do is you can kind of rotate. You can be like, okay, this is not my squat position. And I can kind of start hinging and going. Hinging and going. Okay? But typically in Olympic weightlifting, this is going to be our finishing position. We don't need to like shove our hips through and open like as much as we can. This right here, this is a finished rep. Guys, I cannot tell you how important it is to be able to thoroughly do that, to be able to show that your hip crease can go below your knee crease. If at any point you see that your knees are jammed forward, take note of where your hip crease is. Take note of where your calf is in line with your hamstrings, where your quad is in line with your chest. Okay, it's important that we have the most possible range of motion in all of these and maintain this position. When you're warming up for the snatch, when you're warming up for the clean and jerk, make sure that you focus on these things and that you're squatting to depth every single rep, because once you start adding weight, it's going to be impossible for you to implement those things that you haven't been implementing. This drill, these sets of drills, have probably been the most monumental things that I've taught myself and I've taught thousands of others. This is such an important piece of the puzzle that that's why we put it first, because it's just such a necessity. So go ahead, practice these drills, and then we're actually gonna move on to snatch technique, clean technique, jerk technique, all the great stuff to teach you. So if you could, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.